Welcome to this Tybootha presentation where we will discuss the ancient wisdom. Today, we're diving into some really timeless insights. They're compiled in James Michael's book, Trumpet Blasts, Wisdom Through the Ages. And you can find this book, this collection, on Amazon, along with actually quite a few other works he's done. They're pretty diverse.
Yeah, I saw that. Things like Christian meditation, beginner's mind on Zen, even Western political thought. Quite the range.
Exactly. From inner peace to, well, political philosophy.
But Trumpet Blasts, the title itself, it's got a story, right? Inspired by Emerson.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Ralph Waldo Emerson. You had that line, make your own Bible. Select and collect all the words and sentences that in all your readings have been to you like the blast of a trumpet.
Like the blast of a trumpet, powerful image. And James Michael, he really took that to heart.
He absolutely did. He talks about it in the preface, his personal motivation. It started with a habit, actually.
Just underlining things.
Yeah. Underlining passages in books he read. You know, the sentences that just jump out at you, resonate really deeply.
We all do that. Mark up books.
Right. But then he had this realization, all this wisdom he'd marked, it was basically stuck, just sitting on his bookshelf, kind of inaccessible beyond a quick look.
Yeah. That feeling of knowing it's there, but you can't easily get back to the core idea when you need it.
Precisely. We've all been there, I think. Those underlined bits feel important, but then the book goes back on the shelf.
And the insight fades. So what was Michael's solution? It sounds like he was quite direct about it.
It was almost organic the way it started. He mentioned revisiting Marcus Aurelius's Meditations.
Ah, a classic.
And he decided, right, I'm going to actually transcribe the quotes that stand out to me, type them up.
Just the act of making them more accessible?
Exactly. And that simple act, well, it sparked a much bigger project. He started gathering these trumpet blasts, as Emerson called them, from other thinkers he'd read over the years.
So it grew from Aurelius outwards.
Yes. And he even mentions, kind of amusingly, the happy accident of his underlining habit making the whole thing possible in the first place.
It's like leaving breadcrumbs for your future self, isn't it? That underlining. There's a kind of serendipity there.
Definitely. And it didn't just stop at being a personal collection. He developed this weekly practice.
Okay.
He'd immerse himself in the collected quotes of just one author each week. Really focus.
Ah, one thinker per week. That's interesting.
Yeah. And he found that doing this sustained engagement, it really allowed their insights to, sink in properly. They became actual guidance for daily life.
Reminders and guideposts, I think he says.
That's the phrase, yeah. Reminders and guideposts, not just abstract ideas anymore.
That week-long focus, that sounds key. It's not just quickly reading a quote. It's living with the ideas for a bit.
Letting them percolate.
Right. Moving it beyond just, intellectual nodding to something more integrated.
And apparently he shared some of these quotes at a meditation retreat once.
Oh, really? How did that go down?
Really well, actually. The positive feedback he got was apparently what encouraged him to share the whole collection more widely, put it into this book form.
That makes sense. It taps into that fundamental human desire for wisdom, for guidance. If something clicks for one person,
chances are it'll click for others too.
Exactly.
So Michael is quite clear in the book. Trumpet Blasts isn't meant for, speed reading.
No, definitely not.
It's designed for active reflection. Each chapter gives you enough material for a whole week, focusing daily on just one thinker.
The idea being that this focus helps you internalize it more deeply, make it part of your thinking.
Right. And he includes that great quote from Socrates in the preface, too.
Yes. Employ your time in improving yourself by other men's writings.
So that you shall come easily by what others have labored hard for.
It's such a perfect way to put it. The efficiency of learning from those who've already done the heavy lifting, intellectually speaking.
It really is. So the ultimate hope for the book, and for our deep dive today, is that these quotes really do act as those trumpet blasts.
Yeah, jolting us awake a bit.
Yep.
Providing that daily dose of maybe wisdom or inspiration.
That metaphor, trumpet blast, it really does capture it. Something clear, resonant, cuts through the noise.
Gets your attention.
Yeah. And the lineup of thinkers in the book is, well, pretty impressive. Spans centuries, different traditions.
Oh, okay.
We've got Lao Tzu, Confucius, Socrates, Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, then Rumi, William Blake, Emerson, Thoreau, and finishing with Alan Watts.
Wow, okay. That's quite a journey. East and West, ancient and more modern.
Definitely a breadth of perspective. So shall we start? Let's maybe begin with Lao Tzu.
Yeah.
Foundational wisdom, what stands out from his section.
Okay, Lao Tzu, often seen as the founder of Taoism, yeah. His whole perspective is really rooted in simplicity, naturalness,
Mm.
letting things be.
Right?
And one quote that just, well, jumps out is, "When I let go of what I am, I become what I might be."
Letting go of identity to find potential. That's powerful.
It really is. It suggests that holding on too tight to who we think we are, well, it can actually limit us.
Yeah, I can see that. And there's another one, similar theme maybe. Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished.
Ah, yes. A lesson in patience, isn't it? Trusting the natural flow, the natural timing of things.
It really pushes back against our modern obsession with speed, with forcing things.
It does. It suggests a deeper wisdom in just allowing processes to unfold. And then there's the idea of inner satisfaction. Lao Tzu says, be content with what you have, rejoice in the way things are. When you realize there is nothing lacking, the whole world belongs to you.
Exactly. That's such a radical shift, isn't it? From always seeking more outside to just recognizing the abundance within. Or the sufficiency, maybe.
It feels like a powerful antidote to, constant wanting, finding joy right here. And he has that great line about our mental states, too.
The one about past, future, present.
Yeah. If you are depressed, you are living in the past. If you are anxious, you are living in the future. If you at peace, you're living in the present. So simple, but so profound. It really pins down where our focus often goes and where peace is actually found in the now.
It's all about mindfulness, isn't it? Bringing attention here.
And he valued stillness, too. Silence is a source of great strength.
That really resonates today in our incredibly noisy world. The idea that strength isn't always loud.
No, it can be in that quiet contemplation. And then there's self-knowledge versus knowing others.
Ah, yes. Knowing others is true intelligence. Knowing yourself is true wisdom.
It makes that distinction, doesn't it? Understanding the world out there is one thing, but the deeper task, the real wisdom, is understanding yourself.
Introspection is the higher form.
Mm-hmm. And finally, on leadership, he has this almost counterintuitive take. It's avoid putting yourself before others and you can become a leader among men.
So leadership through humility, through service maybe. It flips the usual script.
Completely. It suggests true influence comes from a different place than ego. It's a strong start, Lao Tzu.
Definitely sets a high bar. Okay, let's move on. How about Confucius? His teachings have had such a huge impact, especially in East Asia. What are the key trumpet blasts from him in the book?
Well, Confucius, his focus tends to be more on, ethics, social harmony, cultivating virtue, practical stuff in a way. And one quote that really grabs you is, "The man who says he can and the man who says he cannot are both correct."
The power of belief, shaping our own reality through our mindset.
Absolutely. It underlines that self-fulfilling prophecy aspect of our own attitudes, and related to that, your life is what your thoughts make it.
It puts the responsibility squarely on our inner dialogue, doesn't it?
It really emphasizes our agency.
Yeah.
How we frame things matters. He also had some very insightful things to say about forgiveness.
Right.
Those who cannot forgive others break the bridge over which they themselves must pass.
Wow, that's a very pragmatic reason to forgive, isn't it? It's not just for the other person, it's for you.
Exactly. Holding on to resentment ultimately blocks your own path. It harms you.
That makes sense. What about work? Did he have insights there?
He did. The famous one, choose a job you love and you'll never have to work a day in your life.
Right. The importance of finding passion in what you do.
Yeah, it speaks to how aligning work with interests just transforms the experience. It's not toil anymore, it's engagement. It's even joy, maybe.
And he definitely pushed for personal growth, didn't he?
Oh, absolutely. The will to win, the desire to succeed, the urge to reach your full potential. These are the keys that will unlock the doors to personal excellence.
That sounds like a real call to action, tapping into that inner drive.
Mm-hmm. And on self-awareness, he valued intellectual honesty. To know what you know and what you do not know is true knowledge.
Knowing the limits of your own understanding, that's crucial.
It really is. It's fundamental to wisdom, recognizing those boundaries, and his guiding principle.
Truth.
Yes, the object of the superior man is truth, sets a clear ethical standard.
So from mindset to ethics to truth, Confucius offers a lot of practical guidance. Okay, next up, Socrates, the father of Western philosophy, famous for all that questioning. What trumpet blasts from him are in this collection?
Socrates, yeah. His big emphasis was always on knowledge and, crucially, self-examination. A really foundational quote is, "There is only one good, knowledge, and one evil, ignorance.
That really shows his deep belief in the power of understanding, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And it ties right into his most famous line, probably. The only true wisdom is knowing you know nothing.
The Socratic paradox.
Yeah.
It sounds contradictory, but it's about humility, isn't it?
Exactly. Intellectual humility, recognizing how much you don't know is what actually motivates you to keep learning, keep questioning.
Right. And he wasn't about just giving answers.
No, definitely not. He said, I cannot teach anybody anything. I can only make them think. That was his whole method, the Socratic method, stimulating your own thinking.
Which connects directly to another really powerful one. The unexamined life is not worth living.
A challenge, really, a call for constant introspection. Are you just drifting, or are you consciously choosing your values, your actions?
Questioning assumptions. Living deliberately.
And he had that sharp observation about conversations, too.
Oh, the one about minds.
Yeah. Strong minds discuss ideas, average minds discuss events, weak minds discuss people.
Oof. That one makes you think about where you focus your own conversational energy.
It's a useful, if slightly pointed, framework. And on happiness, he had an interesting take, similar maybe to Lao Tzu.
Less is more.
Pretty much. The secret of happiness, you see, is not found in seeking more, but in developing the capacity to enjoy less, finding richness in simplicity.
It's a recurring theme, isn't it? Happiness has an internal capacity, not external accumulation.
It seems to be a core piece of wisdom across traditions. And finally, his perspective on death.
Always a heavy topic.
But he approached it with, well, intellectual honesty. To fear death, my friends, is only to think ourselves wise without being wise.
Meaning, we fear it because we pretend to know it's bad, but we don't actually know.
Exactly. He suggests our fear comes from an assumed knowledge about the unknown, which isn't really wisdom at all.
That's very thought-provoking. Challenges a fundamental anxiety. Socrates certainly leaves you thinking.
He does. That was his goal.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Stoicism, Epictetus, and his handbook, the Enchiridion. What are the key Stoic principles blasting through here?
Epictetus is fantastic for just practical advice on resilience, living well despite challenges. And the absolute core principle, the starting point for everything Stoic is some things are in our control power, others are not.
The dichotomy of control. Focus on what you can influence.
Precisely. Your thoughts, your judgments, your actions, that's your domain. Everything else, weather, other people's actions, health to some extent, you have to learn to accept it.
Because getting upset about things outside your control is futile.
Worse than futile, it's the source of disturbance. As he says, men are not disturbed by things which happen, but by their opinions about them.
So it's our interpretation, our judgment, that causes the pain, not the event itself.
Exactly, which gives us huge agency, actually. We can choose our response. He advises, don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do.
And you will be in the tranquil flow. Acceptance again, embracing reality as it is.
It sounds passive, maybe, but it's incredibly freeing when you practice it. And he has this interesting reframe for loss.
Oh, yeah?
Never say you have lost anything. Say you have returned it.
Returned it. Like, it was never truly ours to begin with, just borrowed.
Sort of. It helps you understand the impermanent nature of things, possessions, even relationships sometimes. Appreciate them while they're here, but recognize they aren't permanent fixtures.
That shifts the perspective quite a bit. And he keeps hammering home the power of our mindset, doesn't he?
He really does. It is not what happens that affects a person because it does not affect others. It is that person's opinion about it that affects them.
It highlights how subjective our experience is. Two people can go through the same thing and react totally differently based on their opinions.
Right. And the responsibility for our emotional state lies with those opinions. And finally, a really empowering one. Another cannot harm you unless you choose to let them. You are only harmed when you think you are.
So external events or people can't truly harm our inner selves, our core, unless we grant them that power through our judgment.
That's the Stoic ideal. Our inner citadel, our psychological well-being is ultimately up to us. It's a powerful toolkit Epictetus gives us.
It really is. Incredibly practical, even thousands of years later. Okay, let's stay with the Stoics, but move to the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius and his meditations. What insights does Trumpet Blasts pull from him?
Marcus Aurelius offers this incredible window into a leader trying to live virtuously amidst, well, immense pressure. His meditations were personal notes, right?
Yeah, not meant for publication originally.
Which makes them so authentic. He starts with this dose of practical realism, he tells himself. Start the day by saying to yourself, I will meet the busybody, the ungrateful, arrogant, deceitful, envious, unsocial.
Okay. So basically, prepare yourself for difficult people.
Exactly. Don't be surprised by it. Acknowledge human imperfection, including your own, and resolve to maintain your own composure and principles.
It's very grounded. He also seems very concerned with time, doesn't he?
Very much so. Remember how long you have been putting off things and how often you have received an opportunity from the gods and have not used it.
A nudge against procrastination. Seize the day, basically.
Yeah, and he sharpens that point even further. Since it is possible that your life might end at this very moment, act and think accordingly.
Memento mori, that awareness of mortality as a spur to live fully right now.
It puts everything into perspective, doesn't it? Encourages living with intention. And like Epictetus, he stresses perception. Everything is opinion.
That subjective nature of reality again. Our interpretations create our world.
It reinforces that our emotional experience is shaped by how we view things, but he also offers a path to stability. You can pass your life in an equitable flow of happiness if you go the right way and think and act in the right way.
So happiness comes from aligning our thoughts and actions with reason, with virtue.
That's the Stoic recipe, living in accordance with nature, both our own rational nature and the larger cosmos, and dealing with others who wrong us.
What's his advice there?
The best revenge is to not become like the one who hurt you.
Don't stoop to their level. Maintain your own integrity.
Exactly. Choose the higher path. Don't let their negativity corrupt you. And finally, that beautiful reminder of our inner resources.
The fountain.
Yes. Look within. There is the fountain of strength which will always overflow if you will always seek it.
Such a powerful image, that resilience, that strength. It's already inside us. We just need to tap into it.
An inexhaustible source. Marcus Aurelius offers this incredible blend of realism and idealism for navigating life.
Truly profound. Okay, let's shift gears completely now. From Stoic emperors to a Sufi mystic, Rumi. What poetic and mystical trumpet blasts are in this section?
Rumi. His wisdom is just drenched in love, isn't it? Exploring the inner self, connecting with the divine. It's a very different flavor. One of his most famous lines really speaks to the limits of language. Silence is the language of God. All else is poor translation.
We heard about silence from Lao Tzu, but this adds that spiritual dimension, like words can't capture the ultimate reality.
Exactly. There's a truth beyond concepts. And he speaks so powerfully about the connection between the self and the sacred. I searched for God and found only myself. I searched for myself and found only God.
Blurring that line between the individual and the universal, finding divinity within.
It suggests an inherent connection, maybe even identity. He also really emphasizes intuition, the heart's wisdom. Your heart knows the way, run in that direction.
Trusting that inner knowing beyond just logic.
Yeah. It's a call to listen deeply to that inner guidance, and he challenges our self-imposed limits so beautifully. Why do you stay in prison when the door is so wide open?
Such a potent metaphor. The prison is of our own making, and freedom is right there if we choose it.
It urges us to see the mental and emotional bars we create and step through them. And he has that wonderful quote about wisdom and change.
The clever versus wise one.
That's it. Yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today I am wise, so I am changing myself.
Oh, that's brilliant. The shift from trying to fix everything out there to focusing on inner transformation as the real starting point.
It's a marker of maturity, perhaps. And he reminds us of our inherent vastness. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop.
Wow. What an image of potential, of our connection to everything.
It speaks to our inherent worth and capacity. And finally, perhaps one of his most comforting lines, especially when facing difficulty. The wound is where the light enters you.
Finding meaning, even growth in suffering. Reframing adversity.
It's such a hopeful perspective that challenges can actually open us up to something deeper. Rumi's words, they just resonate on a soul level.
They really do. Okay, from Sufi poetry to William Blake.
Yeah.
Visionary, artist, poet. What kind of trumpet blasts does he offer? His work can be quite challenging.
Blake is definitely unique. He challenges our ordinary perception, celebrates imagination, energy. He forces you to look differently.
Yeah.
Take this one. He who sees the infinite in all things sees God. He who sees the ratio only sees himself only.
So contrasting that limited, purely rational view of the ratio with a more expansive, imaginative perception that sees the divine, the infinite, everywhere.
Exactly, seeing beyond the surface, beyond mere calculation. He also famously declared, energy is eternal delight.
A celebration of the life force itself, the vibrancy of existence.
It's a powerful affirmation, and he could be provocative too. The road of excess leads to the palace of wisdom.
That definitely pushes against conventional moderation, was the idea there. That sometimes you need to go to extremes to really understand something.
Perhaps. Or that breaking free from restrictive norms can lead to breakthroughs. It's open to interpretation, like much of Blake. He also underlines the subjectivity of perception again. A fool sees not the same tree that a wise man sees.
Our inner state determines our outer experience.
Right, how we see the world reflects who we are, and he takes it even further, imagining a radical cleansing of perception. If the doors of perception were cleansed, everything would appear to man as it is, infinite.
Aldous Huxley liked that one. It's this vision of reality unveiled, without our usual filters and limitations. Pure, infinite awareness.
A powerful, mystical idea, and then probably his most famous lines are included. To see a world in a grain of sand and a heaven in a wildflower, hold infinity in the palm of your hand and eternity in an hour.
Just encapsulates that ability to find the profound, the universal, in the smallest, most ordinary things.
It's that interconnectedness again, seeing the macrocosm in the microcosm. Blake really does expand your mind, pushes the boundaries of seeing.
He certainly does. Okay, let's come back across the pond to America. Ralph Waldo Emerson, the transcendentalist, whose quote actually inspired the book's title. What core Emersonian ideas shine through?
Emerson is all about, well, self-reliance, trusting your individual thought, that deep connection with nature. His philosophy feels very empowering. A real cornerstone is to believe your own thought, to believe what is true for you in your private heart is true for all men. That is genius.
Wow, that's a bold claim. Trusting your own intuition, your private truth, as having universal resonance.
It's a radical call to trust that inner voice, even if it goes against the grain. He reinforces it with, trust thyself. Every heart vibrates to that iron string.
Finding that core of authenticity within. Don't look outside for validation.
Exactly. Which leads naturally to his famous line, whoso would be a man must be a nonconformist.
Resisting that pressure to just fit in, thinking for yourself, standing apart if necessary.
It's a call for courage, for authenticity. And he had that profound connection with nature, didn't he? The transparent eyeball.
Ah, yes. I become a transparent eyeball. I am nothing. I see all.
It captures that feeling of dissolving the ego, merging with the natural world, becoming pure awareness, a very transcendental experience.
And he also reminds us, like others, about the power of the present moment.
Write it on your heart that every day is the best day in the year.
What a wonderful affirmation to start the day with. Finding the potential in this day.
It's about bringing that positive intention to the now. And of course, we have to include the quote that started it all for James Michael.
Make your own Bible.
Select and collect all the words and sentences that in all your readings have been to you like the blast of a trumpet. It brings us right back to the book's purpose.
It really does. Emerson's emphasis on self-trust, inner truth, connection. It feels incredibly relevant.
Timeless guidance.
Okay, sticking with the transcendentalists. Henry David Thoreau. Known for Walden, simplicity, civil disobedience, what trumpet blasts from him are featured.
Thoreau takes Emerson's self-reliance and really puts it into practice, focusing on simplicity, deliberate living, individual conscience above all.
Right.
And probably his most famous observation is that stark one. The mass of men lead lives of quiet desperation.
Oof. Yeah, that hits hard. A critique of just going along with societal norms without questioning if it's truly fulfilling.
It's a wake-up call, isn't it? Are you living authentically? Which leads to his famous advice. Simplify, simplify, simplify.
Cutting through the clutter. Focusing on what's truly essential.
Rejecting materialism, rejecting unnecessary complexity to get to the core of living. He explained his own experiment with this, saying, I went to the woods because I wished to live deliberately.
To front only the essential facts of life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that quest for intentional living. Conscious choice.
Exactly. And he was a fierce advocate for following your own path, even if it's different. If a man does not keep pace with his companions, perhaps it is because he hears a different drummer.
Let him step to the music he hears, however measured or far away. Such a beautiful defense of individuality.
It really celebrates marching to your own beat, trusting your inner rhythm. And for Thoreau, the ultimate value wasn't love or money or fame.
It was truth.
Yes. Rather than love, than money, than fame, give me truth. That fierce commitment to authenticity, to seeing things clearly.
And he redefined wealth too, didn't he?
He did. True wealth is the ability to fully experience life.
So richness isn't about possessions. It's about the depth of your experience, your engagement with the world.
Exactly. Shifting the focus entirely. And finally, he saw our dreams, our aspirations, as revealing something fundamental. Dreams are the touchstones of our characters.
Like, what we long for tells us who we really are at our core.
That seems to be the idea. Our deepest desires point towards our true nature. Thoreau's call to live deliberately, simply, truthfully. It's powerful stuff.
It really is. Okay, one more thinker to explore in this collection, the most contemporary one here, Alan Watts. Known for bringing Eastern ideas to the West, what insights from him act as trumpet blasts?
Alan Watts had this amazing knack for explaining complex, often Eastern ideas in a really accessible, often quite playful way. He made them feel relevant.
Yes, he had a great style.
And a central theme, like with many we've discussed, was the present moment. He put it beautifully. Meditation is the discovery that the point of life is always arrived at in the immediate moment.
So it's not about achieving some future state, it's about realizing life is always happening right now.
Exactly. This is it. The point is now. He also had that great line about the self, the ego.
The teeth.
Yeah. Trying to define yourself is like trying to bite your own teeth.
Uh-huh. It captures that elusive, slippery nature of the ego. The harder you try to grasp it, the more it seems to evade definition.
It points to the limits of trying to pin down a fixed self. And he could be incredibly direct about life's meaning. The meaning of life is just to be alive.
Simple, profound,
Yeah.
just appreciating the sheer fact of existence itself.
It cuts through all the complex searching, doesn't it? Find the meaning in the being. And he really emphasized our interconnectedness.
How did he put that?
You are a function of what the whole universe is doing. Like, you're not separate from it. You're an expression of it.
Dissolving that boundary between self and universe again.
And he often encouraged a lighter touch, a sense of playfulness. He had that quote about ice cream cones.
Oh, yeah. The only thing that ultimately matters is to eat an ice cream cone, play a slide trombone, plant a small tree. Good God, now you're free.
It's just joyful. A reminder to embrace simple pleasures. Don't get bogged down in cosmic seriousness all the time.
Find freedom in the ordinary, in the playful. He also warned against taking concepts too seriously, didn't he?
Yes. What we have forgotten is that thoughts and words are conventions, and that it is fatal to take conventions too seriously.
Don't mistake the map for the territory. Don't get trapped by language and ideas.
Keep a flexible mind. Recognize the limits of our conceptual frameworks. And finally, that liberating idea about enlightenment or nirvana.
It's not far away.
No, nirvana is right where you are, provided that you don't object to it.
Wow. So peace, enlightenment. It's available now if we just stop resisting the present reality. Stop objecting to what is.
That's the radical suggestion. It's a state of acceptance, of presence, available right here. Watts really encourages us to live fully, playfully, and awake to the present moment.
What a journey this has been. Through Stoicism, Taoism, Transcendentalist mysticism, all these profound voices curated in James Michael's Trumpet Blasts.
It's a remarkable collection, isn't it? Designed, like we said, for that slow, reflective engagement. Daily inspiration.
And what's really striking, I think, is how often these thinkers, separated by centuries, cultures, they circle back to similar core truths.
Absolutely. Themes of presence, letting go, self-knowledge, the power of perception, simplicity, they keep reappearing.
Which suggests there's some fundamental wisdom there about how to live a good life, a meaningful life. So we really encourage you, listening, to maybe reflect on which of these trumpet blasts we discussed today resonated most with you.
Yeah, which ones landed. And maybe think about how those particular insights might offer some guidance or just a different perspective in your own life right now.
And that leads us to maybe a final thought, a question for you to ponder.
Which is?
Which trumpet blasts from your own readings, your own experiences, have acted as those really significant guideposts for you? And maybe more importantly, how often do you consciously revisit them? How actively do you try to apply that wisdom?
That's a great question. It's one thing to encounter wisdom, another to integrate it.
Definitely something to mull over. And of course, if you want to dive deeper into this specific collection we've been exploring.
James Michael's Trumpet Blasts, Wisdom Through the Ages.
Exactly. That book and his other works we mentioned earlier, they're all available on Amazon for anyone interested in exploring these ideas further.